Hey guys and girls, it's Blackjack with 396 Guitars. We have our PJ build back on the bench. It's been about a month and a half. Guy's done a couple of gigs. He's gone through a couple of studio sessions. I told him bring it back to me in a couple of weeks, so it's been a little bit longer than that. Got to check settlement and readjust as needed, so let's get to work. You'll remember this. He wanted all blacked out gear on it. Oops, sorry, let's get straight here. Black tuners, black Babbitt's bridge assembly. I made this for him. I painted it for him. We put Seymour Duncan quarter pounders in it. He's got flat ones on it, which is what he asked me to put on it when we built the guitar. We're taking those off and going with, the real deal. He wants to save these. He thinks, maybe he could use them again. Who knows? So I took a measurement. Neck relief is a little bit loose. I did some measurements off camera before we got started, and doesn't surprise me. It needs to be tightened up slightly. And I checked string action. Now, he wanted his string action a little bit higher than normal, which it is, but I think we need to adjust this. It's just too loose, and we're going to give it a little more tension. Because it doesn't measure the way I like it. Just give a little bit of a turn on it to put more tension. It's got too much relief in it. And then we'll recheck it. Basically, he just said, here, just do a restring on it, but I can't do that because, I built this guitar for him. He's had it for a month or so. I want to make sure everything's right. That's a little too tight. I think I went too far. I got a little overzealous. Let's back it off a quarter of a turn and roll with that. These Mexican necks are very, very responsive, at least in my experience. I have one on one of my basses. And yep, that's all it took. I want to go back. No, I want to go back. I think it's down to 1/8, 16th turns. That's how responsive they are. Yeah. Imagine if we had to knock the neck off and do this every time. That's better. Just kissing the feeler gauge. I can roll with that. String height. Let's double check that now that we tightened it up slightly, because the string height was a little higher than I left it. But he does like it a little bit higher. And now it's right where I had it, which is just about 6/64. Oop, the G string's a little too high. We're going to have to bring that down slightly. We don't want that up there. Oddballing. I don't remember what size it was, but let's figure it out together. I work on so many guitars. I would have surprised my own damn self if I remembered. Remember that we got to unlock it first, and then we can roll down the string height. is a 2mm. Unlock it, and then roll it down slightly. I was amazed to see a Telecaster Aerodyne with this exact bridge setup on it. A Japanese guitar, and Babbitt's, it had this exact setup with the lock and the cam roller. Instead of raising the saddles up and down physically, it's actually on a roller cam, and as it turns, it lifts the string. As it turns back that way, it lowers the string. So I guess we know where that was invented, and I'd be surprised if they took it from somebody here. But mucho better. That one little adjustment, that's all it needed for that. Now we can lock it back down. Everything else was acceptable. Make sure they're all locked. It's locked. Bear with me. Yep. Being that it's black, it makes it even harder to see. We'll need it a little bit of time. Okay, we're good. We'll check all that again later, because really what it's here for only is a restring. You want to save these strings, put these strings on. This is what I use. I think maybe I talked him into it. I don't know. If I did and he doesn't like them, well, that's on me. I think we're ready to roll. Let's just get these strings off. Oh, and by the way, because remember this was a jazz-based body, we put new pickups in it, rewired it. We put a P-bass neck on it, and I checked the neck bolts. They were snug. I got one little tiny turn on one bolt, and it went, which is the wood pulling up. Now, are we going to be able to pull these through with all of this? I told them I'd be able to save, and I forgot that this is a body through. I'm going to do them one at a time because I don't want to mess anything up. Don't want to mess anything up. Go through there and just come out like you're supposed to. Yep. That's one. I'm gonna pause while I de-string the instrument, and then we're gonna restring it and go from there. Stand by. Okay, so Rotosounds are going on. We took the flat wounds and I put them in a loop the best I could to save them for him. He thinks he might be able to reuse them. Probably we should, because you know. Yeah. It's a relatively new guitar, and it was in beautiful condition. Nice bass, but yeah, he's been using it. It's got his DNA all over it. Get it cleaned up. Well, if it's on my bench, it's going to get wiped down usually, unless it's a real turd, and then I may be trying to sell them a restoration or something. I don't know. I get some comments. Why do you do that on every guitar? Well, because if you trust me to work on your instrument, then I'm going to take the time to at least wipe it down. See, this guitar is almost brand new. I mean, it's not brand new. It was a couple of years old. But why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? I say it all the time. Why wouldn't you? You know? Yeah, I know. All right, same thing. Just like a Stratocaster shaped object. We're going to run our strings through. Oh boy. Did I mess up? Nope. I'm good. Run our strings through and then do the boot, scoot, and boogie. At least bass strings, you can almost look at them. I mean, you see the difference. Sometimes with guitar strings, I have a problem. I have to measure them. Getting old, what can I say? My eyes aren't what they used to be. And I can tell you this. They can say all they want about hair, teeth, and eyes. What I miss the most is my memory. Yep. What were we talking about? So, a little bit different when I'm going to take this opportunity to tutorial on the string kind of sits down in the tuner on these type of basses, these type of tuning pegs, machines, whatever you want to call them. String's going to live here. It comes over this saddle. 1, 2, 3, and a little bit past. Believe it or not, it's going to take that much string to wrap around there because a lot of it goes down in the tuning machine. And if it ends up being too much, then I'll pull it back out and cut some off. But I'm usually pretty good at this. Usually, that is. I do screw up from time to time. Oh yeah, lovely. Got a nice break angle. Don't get concerned about it buzzing on the fret. There's no tension. There's no string tension. String's going to live there. 1, 2, 3, and a little bit more. Probably take it all. Cut off just the very end. All right, stand by while I finish this process up. Okay, so a simple restring, I'm going to explain to you. I was actual time off camera was about 45 minutes. Yeah, taking the flat wounds off and putting the Rotosounds, even though they're the same gauge, put different tension on the neck, and I should have known that. I mean, I did, but I didn't think it would be that much. So a couple of adjustments on the truss rod and getting the string height in equilibrium with the the neck relief and the string height. Yeah, it took a few minutes. We're getting ready to lock it down, and then we're going to check again everything. So once you get it set where you want, you lock down the saddles. And, yeah. But all in all, I'm pleased. This is another instrument that I basically built and put out on this, out in the world with with a really good customer and a professional player for that matter. Works in a studio, plays in a couple of bands. So locked it down, and as soon as you lock it down, it pulls the string height down farther. So yeah, oh, wait a minute, take the cable off, that might help, Luch. Hey, I'm only human. Locked it, and it stayed perfectly. Sorry about that. I'm only human. I forgot to take the cable off. Yeah, locked it down at 5/64 across the radius of the board. Now, if he wants to raise it, yeah, he can, but I'm telling you, this thing is going to play like butter right where it's at. And you can hammer on it or play soft, and it will play the same way. I like that. Let's plug it into the amp and see what it sounds like. Because, yeah, I love it. I love it when you have a guitar that you built and put out on the street, put it out into the musical world. Let's see what it sounds like. I think it will be good there. I like these strings too. I'm glad he decided. Punchy, really punchy guitar. Now, you want to deaden it a little bit? Get that James Jamerson sound. Roll off your tone a little bit and pull back on the neck, the bridge pickup. Get that rock sound. Roll off a little bit on the neck pickup. I love it. She's a keeper. And it is a rocker. And the thing is now that, you know, he was, the reason he went with a jazz bass body and the P bass neck was to get more versatility. And I just kind of, you know, illustrated that slightly. You can do a lot with just these two volumes, two pickups, and a tone. I mean, you can get a lot of different feels from it. So I love this guitar, and I'm so glad that it's out there making music, man. It's Blackjack with 396 guitars. It started out as a simple restring. I should have known to tell him that, yeah, go from flat wounds to Rotosounds, you know, regular strings. There's a lot of adjustment there. But you know what? I don't mind, because he's a really good customer and he's a really good guy. And he's a hell of a player. We'll talk soon. Remember, if you dig what I'm doing, like and subscribe.